Hey guys, Quinn here from Tactical and Practical. As you may have seen on another video, I talk about the Planet Ocean Seamaster in a 37.5 millimeter. I also have the 39.5 millimeter example, and I thought I would show them both to you so you can kind of understand firsthand what the practical differences are, and then a couple other examples so you can just see how they all look. First, this is my TAG Heuer Aqua Racer, which is a 41 millimeter case, and the lug-to-lug distance on this, I believe, comes in right about 47, just to give you an idea of what they kind of look like in size. Figured I'd show them to you so you can kind of think about this and how it might fit on your wrist. Probably the easiest thing to do would be to go to a boutique and try these on. Now my wrists are small to medium, I would say, at 6.79 inches. So here's the tag at 41, 47, I believe, lug to lug. That's about my max size, I think, for my comfort level given my wrist. Next we'll move to a smaller case, but almost an equally large lug to lug distance is my Tissot local automatic with the little second hand. I like this watch too. It's my wrist being this kind of in-between size. The bracelet, when I sized it, I couldn't get it perfect. So again, this is about the max size that I would generally wear. So I wanted something that had a non-metal bracelet, which led me to these Planet Oceans. And now the only decision I have left is, do I go with the 39.5 or the 37.5? So now I don't have that sized all the way. 39.5. It does have curved lugs, so it does wrap around the wrist. This is, I think this might be the winner, the 39.5. It covers the face of my wrist just enough, I think, but not too much. And it's got a real nice size dial. Both this and the 37.5 are exceptional watches. The 37.5 is called a mid-size. Sometimes it may be marketed towards younger or guys with a smaller wrist, or even maybe the ladies model. However, I find that there are a couple things about it that just make it hard for me to love. First of all, the thing's crazy cute. I don't know if you necessarily want your watch to be considered cute, but this certainly is that. One thing you'll notice is that the date complication is not pushed all the way over by the 3. It is a little bit towards center, and that, I think, is just a result of the movement that they had to pack in here. And also you will notice that the watch is a bit thicker by like 1 millimeter. So the proportions on it are just a little bit different. There's the 39.5 on the right with the date window pushed over to the right, and the date to me is a little more legible. Here is the 37.5 on the left. Lug to lug distance, the difference is only about 1 or 2 mils on these, so they wear fairly similarly. The big difference to me is the perceptible difference in the dial size. The dial size on the right just seems to be quite a bit larger than on the left. And the other thing you want to notice, you see the bracelets. The bracelet or the strap, lug-to-lug strap on the 37.5 comes in at 18 millimeters. So it's pretty slender. It would look beefier if you did add the bracelet to it. And then on the 39.5 example, that bracelet is 19 mil. So it's slightly more robust. And interestingly, if you look at the case size, the case thickness on the 39.5 5 is actually 1 mil smaller. So while this 37.5 example is really just a good looking, nice compact unit, the dial face size to me is a little bit rough, as well as the fact that that date window is pushed a little bit to the center. I might be being uber picky, but it does kind of stand out to me. And they wear about the same, at only a 2 mil difference on the lug to lug. Both of them are exceptional watches. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Just depends on what you feel better with on your wrist. From a proportionality standpoint, I think the 39.5, with its 1 millimeter decrease in thickness, it just doesn't look so porky, and I think it just fills out my wrist a little bit better. Although I'm just really intrigued by the smaller version. However, I don't know if necessarily cute is what I'm going for when I'm looking at a watch. So I'm probably gonna keep the larger example and send the smaller example back for a return. Just for a point of reference, again, here's the 39.5 next to the 41 mil Aqua Racer, right? It doesn't look that much smaller, and that's partly because I got my Aqua Racer in the silver bezel. The silver bezel has a tendency to reduce the apparent size of the watch face. And then here is the 39.5 next to my 38 millimeter Tissot, right? Looks like the Tissot might be almost about as big from a watch face standpoint, all the way out past the bezel on the Omega. All good watches. I enjoy wearing all of them, or I will enjoy wearing this Omega as soon as I'm all done with this decision. One thing you want to consider too when you're thinking about buying these, I really like the leather strap, but I would like to also have the bracelet as an option to wear. You're going to have to get the bracelet after the fact, and you don't really see those in the secondary market, at least for the 39.5. I've got to call into the Omega boutique to see about ordering one of those. So if you have a smallish wrist, I'd say if my wrists were much smaller, I would probably go for the 37.5, though I will say that it is a little bit porkier because the movement is different than the 39.5 and the larger sizes, but they're both good looking watches. With a 6.79 inch wrist, I think the 39.5 is my sweet spot. It's very similar to Tudor, was it Back Bay 58. 39.5 is the measurement on that. The trend, it seems, on the super large watches, say 42, 44, 45 mils, maybe the pendulum is swinging a little bit back the other way, but the pendulum always swings slowly, right? The 37.5 or 38 mil is the traditional diver size watch, say, I don't know, 50 years ago. This was the standard, and then we've really seen a movement towards larger watches. That may be receding a little bit. To me, I don't really care about what is on trend. I care about what fits on my wrists, and for me, I think the 39.5 is going to do it. Thought it might help if you could see these things side by side if you're torn between sizes and thinking about making a decision. If this helped you make a decision, please take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll try to keep this content coming. This is Quinn, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.